Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non binary pals, to another fashionably late review here at Words About Games. Amy here, and today I want to talk to you all about Neon White. First of all, I'll give out some general information about the game. Neon White was developed by Angel Matrix and published by Annapurna Interactive and was released on June 16th, 2022 on PC via Steam and Nintendo Switch. According to the game's store description, Neon White is a single player speedrunning FPS where you can sacrifice your guns for godlike parkour moves. So, what the hell is Neon White? It's a fair question, one which doesn't really provoke an easy answer. Neon White, when it's boiled down to its most basic elements, is a puzzle platformer. But if you're looking at the screen and seeing the footage that accompanies this video, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about because the words puzzle platformer, when put together, probably conjures images that are quite far removed from the game you're looking at. There's platforming, and guns that are cards that are also single use traversal mechanics, and also relationship mechanics, and it's a visual novel, and a game where each level is a time trial with heavy speedrunning elements. A first person game that moves as blisteringly fast as Quake. There's also a drum and bass soundtrack that absolutely slaps, and I don't even like drum and bass. Basically, Neon White is the video game equivalent of one of those tables you might have gotten when you were a kid, where you have to slot the shapes into the corresponding shapes on the table, only instead of pairing up the triangles and squares, you've smashed every piece into the wrong hole with a hammer, and the result is a masterpiece. If you've read or listened to anyone trying to review or even talk about Neon White, they've probably at some point twisted themselves into a pretzel trying to describe just what Neon White actually is. I know this not because I've read any reviews myself, though I'm going to be fascinated to check a few out once I've finished my own, but because I've rewritten the opening of this video so many times trying to succinctly tell you what the hell Neon White actually is. But using genre labels or describing individual game mechanics can't really do it any justice. That's because the best way to describe Neon White is like this. It's a vision. This is a game created by a developer who knew exactly what kind of vibe they wanted to make and went full throttle making exactly that. Like Paradise Killer before it, for example, Neon White is a game that smashes together things that shouldn't work in concert and then iterated on and developed until those things do work together to create a masterpiece. And you know I'm serious because I've used the word masterpiece twice in the same review. I also find it quite remarkable that I even like this game at all, let alone consider it one of the best I've played so far this year. On a surface level glance, it really doesn't seem like the kind of game I'd usually enjoy. It was only after trying the demo at a previous Steam Next Fest, intrigued by the game's art style and sense of humour, that I decided to give it a shot. It's a speedrunning FPS. To actually call it fast paced would be a tremendous understatement. The aim of each of its 97 levels is to reach the end as fast as possible while killing every demon on your way to the goal. You do this using soul cards, which are found as you progress through levels, either in the environment or dropped by enemies after you destroy them. These cards are your guns, each of a fairly standard type. You've got pistols, submachine guns, rocket launchers, and the like. But you can also sacrifice them to pull off, as the game calls them, godlike parkour moves. And while the mere mention of cards might give you the impression that Neon White has some deck building elements, they actually work more like pieces of a puzzle. The fast paced nature of your movement combines with very specific placement of enemies and order of cards to create an optimal path through each level. It almost feels indescribable when you chain your movement, weapons, and parkour abilities together at a lightning fast pace to complete a level in a matter of seconds. And it is mostly about completing levels in a matter of seconds. Simply reaching the goal in whatever time, fast or slow, will reward you a bronze medal and the ability to progress to the next. Silver medals are awarded for completing levels in a specific time. Golds are generally given out for completing a level using the optimized path about as quickly as it's possible to do so. And then there are ace medals with time requirements that usually require you to find a shortcut somewhere in each level, optimizing that optimized path even further, I suppose. After the exhilarating rush of mastering the first two missions, each mission in Neon White is a group of about 10 levels for the most part, I settled on the goal of getting at least a gold medal for each level. I'm not particularly that good at games that require precision or fast reaction times, though I do like to think my ADHD does make me good at making split second decisions. Sometimes. Even after playing a demo of the early levels of Neon White a few months ago, I was excited, but playing the full game, I was waiting for the moment to come when I'd have to abandon my attempts to reach Neon Rank 1, reached by completing every level with either a gold or ace medal. Or even the moment where I'd have to abandon the game altogether due to encountering a level that required too much, or a new move that I just couldn't wrap my brain around. And to be fair, the introduction of the Dominion card, a rocket launcher that you need to use to blow up groups of enemies, perform rocket jumps, and use its secondary grappling hook function, was almost that. All the way back to the days of Quake, I've never really been all that good at rocket jumping. I'm telling you all of this to emphasize this point, that Neon White's escalation of challenge is almost perfect. Probably about as close to perfect as it could possibly be. New soul cards, demons, environmental obstacles, and more are introduced with perfect pacing, giving you plenty of time to learn the different ways you can interact with and overcome each, before slowly upping the complexity by forcing you to combine everything you've already learned from previous levels. Eventually, as I found during the incredible final standard level of the game, you're able to put everything together, thanks to muscle memory and how well the game has taught you all of the different ways you can use its cards. In fact, playing Rush Mode, unlocked after you beat the game, which lets you play through all of the game's levels in one go in a shuffled order, put this into sharp focus. Mixing the levels together showed me just how much I'd internalized the game. Levels I felt I had struggled through, even late game ones, felt almost effortless. Even that final level, which took me multiple attempts to conquer that led to a sharp sense of relief at its completion, came and went fairly quickly when it came up in my experiments with Rush Mode. It's challenging for sure, and if you really struggle with fast-paced games, then you might struggle a lot with Neon White. I did, judging by the average playtimes I've seen people throw out for how long it took them to play through the game and reach the true ending. Mine was significantly longer. But with most levels taking less than a minute to actually complete and the ability to instantly reset back to the beginning an infinite number of times, it's very easy to experiment and learn, and then let muscle memory take over and guide you to the finish line. And then scream at your monitor when it tells you that you were 0.68 seconds away from earning a gold medal, and then you do it again and shave 5 seconds off your time, headbanging to the exceptional drum and bass soundtrack despite not even usually liking drum and bass. Seriously, the music in Neon White is at all times the perfect accompaniment to whatever is happening on the screen. Whenever I hit that end screen and saw that I was a little off the pace after my first completion, I never actually felt deflated or defeated. Knowing I needed to tighten up a run by a few seconds gave me the same feeling I had whenever I got stuck in Bloodborne, the FromSoft game that got me into Souls-likes and the Soulsborne series itself, that I could do it. At no point, even in what I would consider the most challenging levels for me personally, did I ever think that I couldn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. As someone who is categorically not very good at video games, that feels pretty great. And if you really want to push yourself to the limit, aside from trying to pick up 97 ace medals, you can always go hunting for gifts and try the side quests. After you finish a level, you're able to replay it to find a secret hidden gift, which you use to advance your relationship with one of the side characters. More on that in a bit. After blazing a trail through a level as fast as possible, gift hunting allows you the opportunity to slow down and play the game more like a standard puzzler. You've got to figure out where the gift is and how to get to it, which creates a secondary puzzle within the original puzzle, as the solution is usually either to save your cards while somehow still getting through the level, or putting your cards to a completely different use at some point in the level. Plus, the slower pace gives you the opportunity to take in the exceptionally well-crafted levels and admire the world a little bit, since it isn't all going past you in a colourful blur. You use these gifts on some of your fellow Neons and Angels to advance your relationships with them, unlocking new and generally entertaining dialogue, or decorations for your room in heaven, or unlocking some of your lost memories. Oh, I didn't mention that Neon White, the main character, has amnesia yet, did I? I haven't actually talked about the story at all. My bad. In Neon White, you play, appropriately enough, as Neon White. You're part of a group called Neons who are called up to heaven every year to help the believers clear out demons who have invaded. The believers have also decided to turn this into a competition. You've got 10 days to kill as many demons as you can, and whichever Neon kills the most gets to stay. But although White has lost his memories, everyone else around him seems to know who he is. You meet Neon Red, Neon Violet, and Neon Yellow, all of whom are also a part of the competition, and all of whom seem to have some connection with White from life. You also meet Mikey, an angel who gives you your assignments every day, and Raz, an angel who runs a dive bar, despite Neon's not being allowed to sample the delights of heaven, so all he can serve is water. The angels are also depicted as cats floating on clouds for White. Like, every different character sees something different, like, depending on their outlook on life of what the angels actually look like. For example, Neon Yellow thinks that all the angels look like John Cena. It's pretty great. I'm not going to talk too in depth about the twists and turns of the story or of your relationships. Both the narrative and character interactions are an absolute joy. After sweating through a set of levels, it's great to head back to Central Heaven and get some funny dialogue or some cool plot developments. More so if you collect gifts for them. As well as unlocking some awesome scenes, gifts also unlock side quests, with a series of them each tied to one of the other Neons, and each with their own themes. Yellow side quests are more gun focused, disabling soul cards as parkour abilities. Red side quests are almost the opposite, focused more on soul cards' parkour abilities, and violet side quests are torture chambers. Like, for real, whoever designed violet side quests, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Although I did have to laugh when I figured out how to get through Violet's final side quest, though. That was a nice touch. And that's it for the review. But, well, not of me talking about Neon White. Neon White has become one of those games that I'll enthusiastically talk about whenever I'm given half a chance, like Hades or Wildermyth or many others before it. This isn't just a game that I've really enjoyed, it's a game that I've become a little bit obsessed with. One that I can't get out of my head, and one which I still feel like playing, even now. With my review done and all the gold medals and other games to play, I mean, I could try and get some ace medals or like complete the rush modes. Like I could still finish the rush modes, I guess. Well, that's it for this review. Let us know what you think of the game. Did you like it? Are you in the middle? Or was it just not for you? Leave a comment down below. You know where the comments are. Or hit me up on Twitter. All the info's in the description. I'm going to get out of here because I have a ton more games to play, and I promise they're not just going to be Neon White for the rest of the year, and not enough time to play them all. So hit that subscribe button if you want more reviews, and until next time, I will see you all later.